I'm a lifelong Manchester United fan and season ticket holder, and I think to follow that analogy, they're a good example of what happens when you're not perverse, and there's no pun intended, but you're not a united front. You know, you've got a strategy and objectives that are not commonly accepted and certainly not embraced and believed in. You know, and I think at Manchester United that goes back to the running of the club in the background, you know, transfer policy, that kind of thing, and that translates onto the pitch. So for us, our pitch is what we do for customers. So if you're not all on the same page, if you don't all have the same belief culture and all want the same thing, which for us is to deliver a great service to our customers in the best possible way, then ultimately you fail. You know, so having people completely in line with that is really important. And it's very easy to see when people can just get a little bit disillusioned, or as you say, they're maybe not having their best day. But just to remind them that trust again in the process, trust in themselves, remind them that if they weren't fantastic at what they do, they wouldn't be here. And just keep focusing on that.
Well, I mean, my sort of philosophy is pretty similar. Well, it's sort of, I'm also a United fan, unfortunately, at the moment, but like as soon as that leadership breaks down, like the individual's belief in the leadership and like what the leadership is trying to instill into the team and into the squad, that just sort of dissipates. So that sort of focus on, you know, trust the process, do the little things right. If they don't believe in leadership, then they're not going to believe in the process and enforcing the process and that sort of thing, and then that's when the results don't end up happening, because we don't focus on the sort of things that the leadership is trying to instill in the players. I think what really makes a transformative leader, sort of linked to the question beforehand, was sort of you have that belief in them. You believe that they are competent, they're calm, they're collected, they know exactly what they're doing. And in my first year at Nottingham, I think that one of the truly inspiring leaders to me was the captain, Alex Davidson. And he was really calm, really collected, and when things were going wrong, he was the right person to turn to. And we didn't end up winning in that season, but like we said earlier, you know, we trusted the process and we ended up performing really well in that final game. And unfortunately, we didn't get the result, but we did the right things. And even him, he said that after the pitch, he was like, we did it right and we did everything we can, so we're not too annoyed.
Yeah, I think for me, we mentioned Manchester United earlier, so I think it'd be appropriate to mention Alex Ferguson, because I think the comparisons are so alike. And you know, you can see from a point of view when we remembered success. Well, I remember it. You might have to look at videos. But he got everybody completely in line. You know, and that not just from a discipline point of view, but you could see that the belief culture was that, you know, trust the process to such a degree that we would win games in the final minute of games where you could see that other teams that didn't believe in the process in the same way didn't do that. And that's because if there was a minute left in a game, it wasn't too late. And I think, you know, people like that inspire me. And you can see that Alex Ferguson was a great footballer himself. You don't have to be great at the thing you do to make sure that you can be good at delivering that in the right way for us, for a customer. But yeah, that would be one of my inspirations. If you're credible and you do what you say you're going to do, then that breeds a culture of people doing what they say they're going to do, and it just becomes second nature. But having a great team around you, as well as their teams, all believing and doing the right things in the same way. And I think consistency is a big thing in everything in life. You know, being great for a split second, you know, shows you're capable of it. But actually being great full time is just doing that consistently. So consistency is a big part of that for us.
100%.